served as a talent service manager. Please join me to welcome Bumi Akano. Let's put our hands together. Let's drop an icon. Let's welcome Bumi. Bumi, you're very welcome. It's good to have you here. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. All right, so let's move to our third panelist, and that is no other person but Conrad Piton. Conrad is a seasoned IT head hunter. He's a human resource business partner and a career coach with over 10 years of direct and transferable professional experience. When you hear a head hunter, that's what he does. He hunts for talents, at different levels. He's a dynamic and people-driven professional committed to impacting lives through meaningful work opportunities, and is driven to support organization in leveraging the potentials of their workforce to achieve business success, transforming organizations by connecting them with exceptional talents who provide creative solutions and elevate business performance. You're very welcome, Conrad. Can we please celebrate Conrad? Let's drop a note, let's drop an emoji, let's drop a comment. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, so let's dive into it. Let's dive into it right now. And we're going to start with our first question. And I'm going to put this first question. I'm going to freelance it, but of course, I'm going to be putting it to our panelists. So the first question is, what is the difference between talent management and talent acquisition? I know this can be confusing to some people. So let's hit that. Let's start with Aditi. You want to go for this?
Hi, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all. And thank you so much, Mole, for this wonderful opening. And I'm so excited to be speaking with you all. And I have such amazing, tremendously, well-known in their areas speakers. So it's great to be kind of, collaborating for this webinar. Yeah, Imole, thanks for the question. What's the difference between talent management and talent acquisition? On a broader perspective, when we talk about talent management, we are, kind of doing the whole cycle wherein, when to be putting into a very layman's language. So if somebody is looking for a particular position, then you're looking for people, you are scouting for resumes, you are networking, you're getting the resumes, and then you're doing the whole process where it involves interviewing and then hiring, and then you're also kind of having these one-to-one connect with the hiring managers and the candidates. That's whole perspective of talent management. And talent acquisition. We have so many different synonyms. It's actually basically the same thing. So when I say, oh, I'm a talent acquisition professional or I'm a talent management professional, talent management is more applied in a very strategic level, and talent acquisition is it's not up to such a strategic level. Where in talent management, what used to happen was I would strategize with the hiring managers. Oh, we're talking about somebody here. It's a senior position. Why is this not working? Why are we not getting resumes? More like going to and fro in a very strategic level. Okay, do we need to change a plan? Do we need to maybe change a little bit of a job description? Do we need to maybe understand where the job market is coming from? But in talent acquisition, mostly is, okay, we have these people, okay, we have a set conditions, we have the set job description, we are hiring, and not too much strategizing. But again, it's very an open-ended debate. These are just different synonyms.
All right, thank you. Let's flip it to Bumi. Bumi, you want to give it a shot? Let's say your perspective. What's the difference between talent management and talent acquisition?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. Nice to meet the fellow panelists, Aditi and Conrad, and hello to everyone on this call. Well, I think Aditi has really said it all. But I'll just like to layer it that the talent management professional or the talent acquisition team will sort of have an understanding of what the organization needs in terms of the people. Now, different types of organizations need different types of people and different skill sets. Conrad, for example, does more of technical recruitment. Someone that does recruitment in the manufacturing sector, they'll be looking for two different sorts of skill sets. And because these businesses also have different departments, so what they want in the sales team will be different from the kind of people that a team like marketing or a team like HR or admin will be looking for, or supply chain. And so the role of the talent acquisition team will be to understand, what the organization needs per time. Also, organizations are in different stages in the life cycle. A startup, for example, what they need will be different from an organization that is 5, 10, 15 years. So at every point in time, the talent acquisition team has to understand what the organization wants to achieve, and then they will tailor, their recruitment strategies to that. The recruiter's job is to, do the posting, do the networking, as Aditi had said, craft the have the job profile, which they would work with in hand with the hiring manager, and then just do the networking and do all that process that will bring in the suitable talent to help the organization meet their objective. But there has to be an understanding of what the organization hopes to achieve per time, per year, per quarter, per 5 years, and then we then start to look for the people to make that happen. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Conrad, you want to give it your own perspective as well?
Thank you very much, Imole. Thank you for inviting me to this event, and it's a pleasure speaking with everyone here. There isn't many things, there aren't many things to add to what Aditi and what Bumi have already shared. But we can look at talent management from this perspective. It's a huge umbrella. Uh, Somewhere within talent management is talent acquisition in itself. Talent acquisition is a subset within talent management. When we look at talent management, we're looking at the overall employee life cycle from the moment that we are recruiting this employee up until the moment that the employee is exiting the organization. Talent acquisition would focus more on the aspects that has to do with attracting the talent, recruiting the talent, onboarding the talent, uh, and then the other aspects of talent management would focus on how do we develop these talents to align with the goals and the objectives of the organization. Uh, that's a critical part of talent management. How do we retain these talents? And it's gonna cut across many other specialized fields because you cannot talk about development without involving the L&D function that would drive training, skill acquisition. You cannot talk about developing without performance management. That's an integral a part of it. You cannot talk about retention without talking about culture, organizational culture at large. We're not talking about compensation. What's your compensation strategy and all of these other subsets. So it's a very broad field, talent management. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, panelists. You guys have, taken it from different angles. And I'm sure our listeners, and viewers have been able to capture a key difference. It is different. I think I like the way it's all well captured. The umbrella is talent management, and of course, talent acquisition is a subset of it. So let's move to the second question. And that is, what unique opportunities does the Canadian talent management landscape offer, and who can capitalize on them, considering the cultural diversity and the regulatory environment. Yes, it's very regulated, and yet, of course, you still can meander your way. So I'm going to put this question to Aditi. What are the opportunities that people can get in this talent management or talent acquisition space, considering this difference?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I'm trying to read the question here. So, what unique opportunities does the Canadian talent management landscape offer, and who can best capitalize on them, considering the cultural diversity and regulatory environment? So, with regards to this Canadian market, as you know, we have been talking about it right from the inception of this seminar, focuses a lot on diversity. So definitely one of the main important things that the Canadian market, the opportunities that the Canadian talent management landscape offers is a diverse range of people here. And so we are we are looking at the diversity and inclusion, and that is such a huge and an imperative part of being in the Canadian talent management landscape offer. Also, the inclusion of work-life balance here. We are also talking about, with the COVID-19 coming in and with the work life here, even now when we look at the jobs, we're like, okay, let's have this kind of a work-life balance. We are looking at a lot of skills and upskilling. So a lot of companies are providing it. So this is one of the things. There's also a huge area that the Canadian market nowadays is giving is rising of a lot of gigs. So when I say gigs, which it also includes, any kind of consulting services that, you want to get into. So as I was, working for a company, on the side, I was also doing a couple of things. Like, I had some of the people who would contact me, if I wanted to go through their resume, kind of give them some kind of help with that. So that was it. Then the other part was some kind of, seminar or some kind of, sharing of topics. So these kind of like the gigs that kind of opens up with a lot of HR professionals. The other thing that is also, there is a lot of technology integration.
Yes.
That the Canadian market gives. So, understanding what the technology is and how the technology can be integrated with people, that is very, very important as well. The other thing that I also feel happens is a lot of dwelling into social responsibility. So when you're working for a company or something, we also need to see how socially responsible they are, or how much of affiliation this company has with any, social forums out there. Again, with the diversity and inclusion, I also want to add some to it is the aging population. We need to focus on that as well. So that is something that the Canadian market also provides. And these are some of the trends that kind of comes to my mind, and I leave it open to Conrad and Bunmi.
All right, that's interesting. Cora, do you want to in the next few seconds give your own shoot to this?
Right. Thank you very much, Imola. Thank you very much, Aditi. Well, I would first of all want to approach this question from a DI perspective. And first of all, we know that the Canadian population is very diverse and increasingly more diverse. We are a multicultural society, and this diversity is increasingly being reflected in organizations at large. Organizations are increasingly having a drive to have a workforce that reflects the larger population. That said, that approach, that strategic direction also means that within human resources, within talent management, there is an increasing need to have diversity representation. Because how did you drive a strategic diversity diversity program without having representation in the human resources team that is driving such a program. So for people like me, who is um, from a minority background within, if you put it within the context of the Canadian society, and I see a lot of immigrants and intending immigrants on this call. It is a unique opportunity because there is an increasing need to bring in cultural diversity representation. So that is something that is very significant and would continue to be significant as we move forward. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. There's so much opportunity here. I agree with you, and thank you for your insight, Aditi and Conrad. I'll move to the third question, and we're going to start. I'm going to take it to Bumi's space. So, Bumi, can you share what are some essential skills for transitioning into talent management, and how can individuals integrate technology into their skill sets?
All right, thank you very much. The very, very, very first skill that is almost non-negotiable for someone moving into talent management is communication skills, because you're going to be dealing with people, and you're going to be dealing with people at all levels. So it's the different gamuts of communication, and people are complex. That's what you must know. With communication comes people management, which is a given, but your communication will help you with managing people. Of course, apart from understanding people and knowing a bit of behavioral psychology, that's also important. But communicating, learning how to not just speak, but also write properly. I recently concluded an MBA, and part of the struggles that I saw that a number of people that I worked with on certain teams, just a few teams was with communicating. And a lot of people, because I took the HR electives, and some people really struggled with the HR electives, and they felt that they were being scored down. And that was largely from my own interpretation of their problems. It wasn't really about the lecturers. It was more around maybe writing. So you have to actually learn how to write, and you have to learn how to, write in a business manner. Business communication, that's a big deal. So time management is also key. I have one of the things that we should know now is that it's not going to get easier working. So when our parents worked, it's different from the time that our parents worked is different from the time that we are working, and it's going to get increasingly complex and more demanding. And so time management and self-leadership is very key. So you need to be able to manage your time, because there's going to be different things competing for your time at various times. There are also going to be, you also have to learn how to prioritize. So part of time management is learning what has a high level priority that needs your attention, what doesn't have such a high level priority that you can leave till later or delegate to others. So that's key. You have to learn to plan ahead, and organize project management. I would even say one thing that HR professionals should learn outside of the HR certifications will be to do something around managing projects, maybe Scrum Master or something, because it shows you how to piece various different things happening at once, which is what you will find in the workplace. Empathy is also key. You need empathy, negotiating skills, networking, and all of that. And technology is very important, because technology helps us to simplify our processes. It helps give better employee experiences. It also improves the recruitment process, for example. And I mean, very simple ways for you to learn about technology. One of the things that you can do is to find out the different types of HRIS systems that organizations use. So there are popular HRIS systems that a lot of organizations in Canada use. For example, Workday. I hear a lot about Workday. I hear about Bamboo HR. So you can find how to learn. Maybe you can take a course to learn something around it. The issue with that is that you might eventually get to an organization that is not using that particular software. But if you haven't used the HRIS before, I would say that might be something for you to look at. HRIS is a technology that helps to manage HR processes in the organization and simplifies the process. Also, I would want to speak about data, learning how to manage data, because now decisions that organizations make are based on information. They are just not based on something someone is saying or something someone thinks. They're actually based on facts on ground, and facts are derived from data. And before you can reach a conclusion about your data, you have to be able to learn to manage the data and interpret the data. So things like learning how to do reports, manage data with Excel, Power BI, Tableau, I would really, really recommend those. I know how to use Excel and Tableau, for example, but I still want to learn about Power BI. My last role was very big about data. I used to send monthly people reports, analytics report to the management team, and I mean, that was 2022, and I had to learn that from 2022, and I've built on that. Yeah,
Awesome.
so that's what I'll say.
Thank you so much, Bumi. I mean, I feel you touched a lot of various skills that is critical, and I think you even responded some of the questions we have ahead. We're going to move a bit faster here, so I'm going to go to Conrad for the next question. But Jennifer said it's aids efficiency and streamlining of your processes, and I'm sure she's talking about technological trends in talent management space. So let's go to the fourth question, and I'm going to put this to Conrad. Conrad, what trends are shaping the future of talent management in Canada, and what steps can one take to align with these trends?
Thank you, Mother. I can think of two critical trends right now. The first being that human resources is increasingly becoming a strategic function. Human resources is no longer an administrative, paper pushing function. There are still aspects of HR that are significantly administrative, and there would always still be a need for people to take care of the administrative bits of HR. But if you're looking at a long-term career in human resources, a career that has growth, then you have to start thinking from a strategic perspective. And when I talk about a strategic perspective, we're talking about a partnership with the business, understanding business strategy, understanding how you can link people strategy with business strategy. Because at the end of the day, human resources, human beings are the most essential assets in any organization. In fact, there's no organization without human beings.
That's
In
correct.
fact, in some organizations, it's called human capital, recognizing the pivotal role that human beings play in the development and success of an organization. Even the word organization in itself focuses on human beings. There is no meta without human beings. Mark Zuckerberg couldn't have built uh, that organization by himself. Steve Jobs could not have built Apple by himself, right? All of these great entrepreneurs and business leaders that we see around today leverage on the talents of their people to build their organizations. So it's very important as a human resources professional today, as a talent management professional, to understand how to align the overall people strategy in such a way that it would drive the strategic business objectives. And in so doing, it connects with what Bumi already said earlier: data, data, data.
Data.
Business is becoming increasingly data driven. Gone are
Driven.
the days where uh, an entrepreneur or a business guru was someone with strong instincts who would just know the right thing to do at the particular time. No, that uh, idea of being a business leader or an entrepreneur has fast faded into the background. It's more about data, it's more about trends. How do you leverage data to drive business? And as a human resources professional, you have to become data driven to align your strategies with what the data is saying to be able to assist the organization at large. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Carl. I mean, I love the flow of these conversations, and really a lot is happening in this field right now. And I know that I think one thing I like to emphasize from what you said is the movement from the administrative part of HR. Right now, as HR professionals, you have to be data centric, people centric. There's a lot going on in that space, and it's important that we know that it's not done the way it used to be done before. You have factors like now hybrid roles, remote roles. Those are some of the things shaping the talent management space in Canada, and many other things. So thank you so much for that. Let's move to the first question. Because of our time, we'll go a bit fast now, and we'll probably just take 2 or 3 more questions. So what pathways for newcomers to talent acquisition? What are the pathways, and then why does individual background matter? I mean, in terms including immigrant experience, what are the pathways available for newcomers to transition into talent management? Aditi, would you like to take this question?
Thank you, Amelia. Sorry, I've been coughing, and that's why I wanted to go off screen.
Sorry about
Wonderful, wonderful answers both by Conrad and Bunmi. And I was listening to it, and I remember just kind of touching point that how important data was. Like everything we did, they would be like, "Hey, do you have a metrics for that? Do you have data for that?" So adding on to that, to this particular question of yours that you just asked, what pathways exist for newcomers to talent acquisition? I will like to say that the first thing that a talent acquisition from a different country, how they would merge, is networking. It's a big thing. You come here, you network by going into seminars, you network by connecting people with LinkedIn, you network with a lot of professionals in the industry by sending them requests, by even like a coffee chat. So networking is a huge thing. I would say that is one thing. The second thing is to be learning about how HR functions in the Canadian job market. So take up like a certificate course, or if you can, and take up like some kind of a course and understand how the Canadian market is with regards to human resources. The third pathways that exist for newcomers would be technological skill development, right? So apart from not only kind of, brushing up your HR skills, what you could also do is do some kind of technology enhancement, just like Bunmi and Conrad have mentioned, right? Get into data, like, maybe do a course on some kind of like a project management, or like a little bit like a course on Excel or a Power BI or Tableau, and kind of try to be agile with what kind of technologies are in, to be able to integrate into the Canadian market. The other thing that I would say is, why does an individual's background, including immigrant experiences, enrich this field? Is I can talk about from my experience. When I came, I had a certain experience from India. I'm from back home, India. So when I came, I already had an educational qualification. So I didn't have to kind of do my entire course here, right? I just had to do an enhancement, or maybe I took some few certificate courses to start with, to understand, oh, this is how talent management works. Oh, this is how the scenario is, or this is how the market is. When I did my CPHR course, I came to understand how the employment laws are and how the federal laws are. How are they both different, and how is it applicable, right? So I think that is very important. And plus, we come with our own learnings, because we have dealt with people very different from what the Canadian market is. So there's so much of diversity and inclusion what we can bring when we are coming from our home country. So definitely, that is there. And yeah, these are some of the points that comes to my mind.
Thank you so much, Aditi. Thank you. I think you touched on quite a number of questions we still have ahead, but thank you for sharing that. I'll quickly move to Bunmi. Bunmi, what practical steps can help those new to talent management the profession, and then overcome challenges and stand out in the job market. So, Bumi, please just take this for just about 1 minute. And of course, I'll move it to Conrad and move to the last question. Thank you. You're on mute, Bumi.
Yeah, Aditi had spoken a lot about networking, so I wouldn't expand too much about that. She's spoken about how to do that on LinkedIn. That alone is something that you should learn how to do and start to do it now. Build your expertise on LinkedIn, not just network, but also share your thoughts and position yourself, as someone with knowledge, because the fact of the matter is that this is how we now meet people. Don't look at it as something difficult. Just imagine that in the old days, we used to meet people by going to places to meet them. But now, we now meet people on social platforms. So just use it to your advantage. If you are a student, currently, because I know that some people are immigrating to Canada through the study route, use your school's resources. Your school will probably have like a career development team. Use that. Also network within your student body. The information comes from different places. You can get information from anywhere. Use your communities as well. So we all have different communities. So you can join, so for example, I'm being mentored by someone right now, but that was because I joined a professional women's group. So she's a director in a bank. I'm being mentored by her because I joined that women's group. So there are different communities that you can join. You can join the community from where you are from and look for those that are, ahead of you. Look for people that are doing things and being that are currently in the space that you would like to be. Use the HR buddy as well. So for example, I'm a student member. I used to be a student member of CPHR when I was a student. Now I have started my process into the candidacy, right? I have gone for CPHR events. So please go for events, volunteer your time as well. And then when you go for events, try and meet at least one person or two people that you sort of follow up with and build the relationship organically. Also remember that things take time. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself time, give yourself grace. Like, go through this process gracefully and know that, you're going to go through, this phase is going to end, and then that what you want is going to eventually happen. Thank you.
Beautiful. That was hot. Thank you so much, Bumi. Conrad, do you want to chime in? Do you have any additions to
Thank
make?
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think as someone trying to break into the talent management space here in Canada, analytics competency is still something that is generally lacking. So if you are thinking about what skill you can bring that would stand you apart from most people, analytics competency would definitely stand you apart. You've been able to show that capacity with data is going to stand you apart from most people. Also, the way you build your resume, the way you present your resume is also very important. A lot of people still write resumes in such a way that they are basically narrating job functions, responsible for this, responsible for that. I think by and large, anybody can guess what a particular function is responsible for. We can always go online, even if we don't know, and research what is the function of a talent management specialist, what is the function of an HR administrator. But what we wouldn't know from the internet, from Google, is what you delivered in that role. So you have to present your resume in such a way that it is focused on your achievements, what you delivered. What did you achieve in that particular role? Can you quantify it in data? So you led a learning and development program. How many employees were in this program? What was the aftermath of this program? How did it enhance the overall productivity of the organization? What did the participants go on to do after attending this program that you learned? How do you quantify? Are you able to quantify the impact of that program? These things are important in the way you present your resume. If you are able to highlight impact on your resume, impact over responsibilities, you will definitely stand out. One more thing is to understand the local context as much as possible. And we have talked about certifications, programs in college, but beyond this, there there is actually a lot of resources online that you can leverage to educate yourself on what the local landscape is. You have, because you have to be mindful that where you're coming from is very likely to have a different context
So true.
from the Canadian one. And if you're not able to align what you have done within to the Canadian context,
Mm.
you're very likely to encounter barriers in interviews
Yeah.
where the decision makers feel that you don't have the prerequisite knowledge and experience to succeed within the organization. So you need to learn what are the laws, the employment laws in Canada, what are the employment standards in Ontario, what is the Human Rights Act, what is the act
Right.
that has to do with occupational health,
So,
and we can go on and on.
um,
There are so many legislations that relate to the human resources field here in Canada.
yeah.
Research on them. If you can educate yourself sufficiently on these legislations, and then be able to align or transfer your experiences from your country of origin into this context, then you are most likely going to succeed in interviews.
Thank
But
thank
without this knowledge, you are not going to inspire confidence.
thank you so much, Conrad. You touched on so many deep things, and a big part of what Conrad has said is the essence of today's webinar. I mean, I love. Let me quickly go through some of the things in the charts. Jennifer says, volunteering and attending networking events helps, and I agree with you 100%. Florence, okay, I will come to that. Then, Florence says, with that, it's be great to hear about groups you can recommend and LinkedIn for newcomers. There are a lot of groups. If you're a newcomer in HR, for instance, one of the groups that we know about that we belong to is called HR Leaders in Canada. I think it's a great group. It's a great resource for you. Jennifer also said, learn about unions, and a lot of organizations are unionized. That is true. That is very true. You guys have been amazing. So, because we need to go through another line of session, I'm going to give each and every one of us just 30 seconds to give your final word, before we go into, or you know what? Let me go through. Okay. Let me go through. There is a key aspect I want to talk about, but let me give you 30 seconds to give your final word. Somebody who wants to transition, or somebody who really wants to understand how to navigate all of this part. Let's summarize it just in 30 seconds. Bumi, let's go with you first. What would you say to those people, to everyone listening to this particular webinar?
I would say that you need to keep an open mind. You need to be ready to learn.
Yeah.
Case in point, I just finished my MBA. Like, I submitted my last papers 17th of December last year. But by January, was it January 6th or something? I had already started a course in advanced labor relations, because I want to, I needed to learn a little bit more around collective bargaining, here in Canada, because I've had some of that experience back home. So be ready to learn, be ready to invest in your knowledge. Sometimes you don't have to even pay for a course. You might just really sit down and study, some key parts of the maybe Employee Services Act or the Labor Relations Code, or something that would help you, like Conrad had said. Network, meet people, network organically, meet people, and when you're meeting people, think about how you add value. Don't just meet someone and then start to ask for a job, but just think of how you can add value. Think of how you can build the relationship. Let it grow organically, and then, like I said previously, just continue, strategize, re-strategize. If something is not working, seek for feedback from people that you trust. Try and get a mentor that will be committed to you. But remember that your mentor is not going to do the work for you. The mentor is supposed to guide you through the process, not do the work for you. So you are going to drive that process yourself and be helped by your mentor. Look, that the role of that mentorship is to make you see things that you can't see. And then, like I said earlier, give yourself time. Give yourself grace, enjoy whatever season that you are in right now. Please, please, please. This is so important for immigrants and a whole larger conversation. Whatever season you are in right now, just enjoy it while you keep working towards where you want to get to. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right. Aditi, can you just do that in 30 seconds? What will be your last word? You're on mute, Aditi. What will be your final words to every attendee today as to this? And then I'll come to Conrad after the slideshow. Go ahead, Aditi.
Thank you so much. First of all, I have to say congratulations, people, for coming into this market. We really need really good HR professionals, and not only HR, but any kind of in HR, if you want to get into any kind of field. But to kind of summarize it quickly, I'm going to say is number one, network is a big thing. Start networking with people wherever in the world you are. Identify what the relevant technologies are. Stay informed about emerging technologies. Take online courses and tutorials. Try to do certifications, right? That is very important. Try to do certifications. I would suggest any kind of certificate course, any kind of HR course that you can do. And do some kind of projects if you have time. Join online communities. Seek mentorship. So these are some things that come into my mind. Don't lose heart. Keep treading. We are all here. You are connected with us. If you have any questions or something, you can always connect with us. And the thing is, with regards to connecting on LinkedIn, get into LinkedIn. There are a lot of professional groups out there. You have an HR professionals network group. You have a Society for HR Management group. You have employee engagement group. There is a learning and development. So there are a lot of groups within LinkedIn that you could join, and you can get a lot of information. So this is what, in a nutshell, I'm kind of saying it very quickly, but this is what I would suggest.
That's powerful. Thank you so much, Aditi. Conrad, I'm going to come back to you for your own round of speech. But, we've touched on so many things. And so, after hearing all of this, Toby, you can move the slide. After hearing all of this, you need to know about where Luminous comes in all of this, right? Luminous is on speed dial to navigate your success and talent acquisition or talent management. What we do essentially, is this particular course is called Talent Acquisition Certificate course, and it is a 4 weeks comprehensive. Toby, can you please move the screen? It's a 4 weeks comprehensive certificate course that is. Let's go through some of the key things you learn. Essentially, you will learn practical knowledge, right, of talent management in Canada, the whole gamut of talent management and employee relations. You understand the framework around, talent management in the Canadian context. Like I said earlier on, what you do as an HR professional in any country is almost the same. Of course, the ESs are different, but fundamentally, the laws are different. The CPC or ESA is different, but fundamentally, the culture and the context is very different. The social economic atmosphere is different. So you will get to understand this. Then it will deepen your understanding of the Canadian labor landscape when it comes to this. Yes. of course, you of course learn how to identify the crucial elements influencing organization when it comes to recruitment and selection. Then the act of screening applicants, all of the right procedures that meets the legal requirement. For instance, in Canada, keep in mind, there's certain questions you can't ask in an interview. And well, it's not a big deal in some organizations or some country, but here it is different. So you also learn how to create, the efficient recruitment selection structure and processes. You will learn how to go about this. Now, go down. The juice of this, beyond deep diving into the key aspect of talent management. Of course, you're going to learn the legal framework. You're going to learn data-driven. A lot of our panelists have said so much about data. It's a big thing. About technological advancements. You have to align to it. But why do you choose to be a part of Luminous? Number one, it is an expert-led trainer session, right? Our facilitators are top talent management leaders, people who have worked with solid organizations, who understand the processes, who are not just able to speak the language, but able to teach you practical knowledge in when it comes to talent acquisition. So you're going to have the opportunity. Please, can you draw the slide down? What you're showing is different. Toby, you're going to have that opportunity. Also, it's a community, right? You have opportunity to meet people in class, engage with individuals who are within your space or trying to pivot into your space. The classes are always very engaging, very transformational. And of course, it's an affordable, very, very affordable learning platform. It's because this is really our second real life launch. So we know what the competitors are other providers are doing out there, but we'll keep the price very, very low, right? Two major reasons or two major value you get from this course beyond the training that you get is also you have opportunity to bring life scenarios. A lot of case studies are going to be discussed. A lot of scenarios are going to be discussed, and things that touch on the heart of talent acquisition. Either you like it or yes, I know for a fact from my experience that talent acquisition happens to be the easiest route to get into HR in Canada. Right? Most organizations give foreign trained professionals opportunity to be a recruiter, for instance, right? So that is one critical thing. Then Luminous also offers you opportunity to volunteer. So we are partnering with various SMEs, partnering with various non-for-profit organizations, such that once you're done with our course, you have the advantage of volunteering these organizations. Some of them will offer full-time job immediately, but the deal we have with them is volunteering opportunities. Why? Somebody will ask why. Canada is huge on volunteering. I applied over 600 times before I got my first job as an HR professional. And it was until I put my volunteering experience on my resume that I started getting the calls, because Canada is great on volunteering. You can't take away the subtle, subtle discrimination when it comes to some of these things. But when you take steps like this, you attend, you have certificate courses like this, you go through programs like this, and you volunteer, you are speaking a stronger language. More importantly, you know how to speak the language. So, and of course, at the end of this course, you also get a certificate, and you get a badge that you can share on LinkedIn and your social media. Who is this course for? Fundamentally, it's for everyone who wants to pivot into HR. It's for anyone who wants to pivot into HR, anyone who is a recent college graduate, and wants to get established, any immigrant who just came and he wants to secure an HR position, or somebody that is aspiring to build their career in HR, right? This course is for you. I've talked about some of the benefits of enrolling for this course. You don't want to miss it. Can you take it down a bit? You don't want to miss it. After you're done with this, you get, understand the Canadian context of talent acquisition, understand the Canadian context of talent management, of HR as its own. You understand it. Then the networking opportunity is amazing. You can't miss that out. You have people you can ask questions, and even access to the facilitators and ongoing access for support. you have that. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, that's a yes to you, sir. I wouldn't have time to go over the course overview, but just to give you a snippet of the course overview, we're going to be covering, all of these topics at an in-depth level. Now, let's go to the costing part of this so that we have an idea of what the cost is. Like I said, the facilitators are awarded, top facilitators who are currently in the system, who have done this at a higher level, who understand what it takes to speak the language, what it takes to navigate the talent management landscape in Canada. So when it comes to cost, now you can go just Google and check out what others who are doing the same thing we're doing. Some of those institutions, the same thing they're doing, they're charging for a talent management cost. This is less than half of it. The investment is $500 for the 4-week comprehensive program. It's just $500. Now, we're doing an early bird discount, and the early bird discounts, if you register today, you get 20% off. And if you register today, you get to pay $400. Now we have people who have been talking about, we can, we're interested in these, but we can't, we want to split it into two. We've given a 2-time payment opportunity, and that means you can pay twice. First installment is $350, and second is $250, right? This is very affordable. Somebody said cheap price. We keep it affordable for this particular cohort to give a lot of our people opportunity. You have opportunity to learn amongst Canadians, people who are already in the system, who understands the way. You have opportunity to interact. You have opportunity to ask real life questions. You have opportunity, to position yourself. So I tell people, one of the major ways where you differentiate yourself, and of course you get that job interview and get that job, is your ability to speak the language. And you can't speak the language if you don't understand the cultural dimensions of the workplace culture, or even the labor relations atmosphere or ecosystem in Canada. And you can't do this in abstract. So that's a major reason why you need to join this particular course. The information will be shared with you, everyone here, who will like to be a part of it. You will have to take advantage of this course at this time, because truly the price is very, very affordable. And of course, we made it that way for now, so that our people can get that opportunity. It is hard out there, but I don't say it is hard to you. I say it is easy for you, because you know the way to the city. You know how to make the right investment to position yourself for this market. And it's definitely something that I encourage everyone to take advantage of. I saw someone's hand raised up, but if you have any, okay. Well, that's a good question. What are the advantages of this course for someone outside of Canada? Well, I put it to you in simple terms. If you have opportunity, if you're planning to come to Canada, definitely you need this course. If you have plans to come to Canada. Now, if you don't have plans to come to Canada, you want to be here, this gives you global context. You have the contextual element of talent management. You're able to speak the language. You're able to position yourself any country you are, right? So your employer or potential employer. Why? Because you've learned from the best. You've seen it from various angles. From a practical, experiential angle, you've understood talent management. And that is very, very important. Conrad, your hand is up. Conrad, I'll take your hand before I go to the second question. Yeah, Conrad.
Thank you, Ole. Just to add to what you said to the person who wanted to know the relevance of taking this kind of program outside of Canada. If you are in Nigeria, for instance, I lived there, worked there, and I happen to know that there is an emphasis or a preferential treatment given to international exposure, given to people who have or who can demonstrate global knowledge of global best practice. And I'm very proud of the Canadian context. There is a lot of drive towards global best practice, or what can be termed global best practice here. And it's a very, very good place to learn something that you can take back to your locality and use as a game changer to transform your organization and the landscape in general. It's very progressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that amazing contribution, Conrad. All right. So technically, we're going to be running off now, but we'll still keep it open for conversations to be on. I just want to say this to respect our time, especially those of us who are in different time zone. Further information will be shared with us. People are registering already. Please don't slack at all. We see people are beginning to register. Jump on it immediately. Obianuju, I saw your hand up. You want to go for it? Quickly, I saw your hand up. You still have a question or a contribution? Obianuju?
Hi,
Okay.
yes, I
Yes, go
have a
ahead.
question which I posted on the chat. It's totally not related to this, but I wanted to know the timeline for the next advanced labor relations training.
Oh, thank you. That's a good question. We're going to start the first week in March. That is a hot course right now, a hot certificate course. The feedback has been amazing. We're going to start the first week in March. That will be the first. That's be the next cohort. Okay. Let me quickly take some questions here. Someone says, do I still need this course if I have PHRI certification? That's a very good question. Well, so from the feedback we've been hearing from this current cohort for our labor relations class, and practical feedback, and it's going to be posted on our website and our social media platforms. One of the core values people are getting is the practical dimensions to it, right? When you do your PHRI, you understand the theoretical part, which is awesome. Well, when you do our course, you understand the theoretical part and the practical side of it, right? Where we're looking at real world scenarios, real cases, real scenarios, and it's not a conventional theoretical class where we're just explaining this concept and theory to you. Our facilitators, that's what they do for a living, and they do it with global organizations. They do it top. They serve leadership. They understand the context. So PHRI is, American, is global, but if you attend this course, you understand the Canadian context of everything we're going to be talking about, from the DNI, to also the tools, to legislation, to, the legal aspect, to even how to interview. So I tell people, if you're instance, you're still considering it, if you attend this course, beyond the opportunity for you to be able to volunteer or attach to another organization, you learn how to interview properly. You learn strategies to mitigate against diversity and inclusion, right? You learn that strategy. You learn all of those things, and that positions you internally and externally. So if you have your PHR, that's good, but this course gives you more because it exposes you to it. I think I'll just take two more questions. This course is online. Yes, that's correct. It's online. It's facilitator led. Is real life. And it's happening for 4 weeks. So imagine what you're going to get for 4 weeks. The prices of the courses on the screen. It's going to be shared with us again and again. We're going to reach out to us. It's $500, and if you take advantage today, within the next 24 hours, you get $400. That amount is amazingly affordable. The training is starting next week. A week from now, that is when it's starting. That's a fantastic question. It's just weekends. For now, it's just weekends. We're targeting people who, you may be working during the week, you may be doing your transition job or your survival job, and you want to use your weekends, to do this. So it's going to be weekend classes. And I think we've got more than time, and this is not our practice, but a lot of questions. I'm going to just take maybe one or two persons who have a question. If you don't have a question, I'm going to say, Conrad, what is your last word? I'm not giving you that opportunity. Please go ahead if you have anything to share with our viewers. Go ahead in the next few seconds, share, and we'll bring this to a close.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Wow. Looking for a job is a job. And on this journey, you have to be kind to yourself. There's no one track to breaking into the Canadian market. What worked for A might not work for B. Keep an open mind, learn different experiences, do the most you can, invest in yourself, take care of your mental health, but be patient, be kind to yourself. Looking for a job is a job. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. At this juncture, we've come to the end of this webinar. I want to say very massive thank you to our facilitators, our panelists. Aditi Sarup, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here. Bumi Akano, let's see your face. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for your wealth of experience that you've shared with us. Aditi, thank you for the wealth. And Conrad, thank you. You've been amazing. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone that has showed up today. My name remains Imole Ayo, and it's good to have you. Thank you for sharing this part of your Saturday with us. Some of us have moved to Sunday. Very much appreciated. We're going to keep in touch with you, and thank you, the team Luminous. Till we meet again, please. Your mental health is very important. While you're navigating the job market and making all of these decisions, keep in mind, right, that you have value to offer. The fact that somebody has said no, it's not the interpretation of your value. You have so much more to offer. You only need to position yourself right and be around people, who truly value what you carry. Thank you so much, everyone. So we'll meet again. Officially, this meeting has ended. Do have an amazing time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you to our esteemed